From the editors of Cook's Illustrated magazine, it's America's Test Kitchen. With your host, Christopher Kimball. Featuring Test Kitchen chefs Julia Collin-Davison, Bridget Lancaster, Becky Hayes, with Adam Reed in the equipment corner and Jack Bishop in the tasting lab. Discover the secrets of America's foremost food testers and tasters today on America's Test Kitchen. Today on America's Test Kitchen, Chris visits Stefara Pizza in Brooklyn to learn how to make the perfect New York-style pizza. Next, Chris goes into the kitchen with Bridget to learn the secrets to making the ultimate thin crust pizza at home. Finally, Jack challenges Chris to a tasting of red wine vinegar. That's all right here on America's Test Kitchen. America's Test Kitchen is brought to you by DCS by Fisher & Paykel. America's cooks rely on innovation and culinary precision. DCS by Fisher & Paykel, offering premium indoor and outdoor kitchen appliances.
And by Kohler, inspiring home chefs to create a professional level kitchen with innovative sinks, faucets, and cook centers. Kohler.
And by Diamond Crystal Salt for the professional chef and those who want to cook like one. Diamond Crystal, the gourmet choice. By Cooking.com, an online retailer for the kitchen enthusiast. If it's not in your kitchen, try ours. By Plum Amazins, diced-dried plums from Sunsweet for amazing recipes. By Miracle Grow, the gardener's friend. And by Chateau Saint Michel.
I'm here in the 8th largest city in America, and it's called Brooklyn, right in the heart of it on Avenue J, and I'm standing right next to Stefara's Pizza. This is the best pizza in Brooklyn, probably the best pizza in New York, and some people think the best pizza in the world. Dominic has been here since 1964. He grew up outside of Naples. He's been making pizza almost 50 years. So let's go inside, have a little chat with Dominic, and best of all, let's have a taste of his pizza and figure out why everyone thinks it's so great. Okay. So Dominic, you grew up in Italy.
Yeah, Caserta.
You were in your 20s when you came here.
I come here because of all of my people that are born over here. My grandfather, my father. The whole American citizen, you know. Oh. So when I grow up, you know, like American dreams, I want to see whether I come over here.
So you've been here once or twice before, right?
I'm here every day on this job site. Stefara's got the best pizza in Brooklyn.
I think it's the best pizza in New York. And that's saying something because there's a lot of good pizza in New York.
So you don't have a set recipe?
No, I don't use no recipe. I just use my eye. Sometimes if it's cold, use different man the east, you know, if it's warm, use different man the east. The water too, sometimes use the water a little warm, sometimes use cold water. It's a lot of trick. I keep the oven very high. See, they cook the pizza at the pizzeria on 500 degrees. See, me, I go to 900 to 1,000. The pie is supposed to be in the oven no more than 5 minutes. Because when the pizza stays in the oven too long, it comes out very dry. The flour is from Italy, the mozzarella, the olive oil, Parmigiano Reggiano. Everything is fresh from over there. The people that come over here from over there, that eat the pizza over there, they like this one better. I told them, I said, everything I use come from over there. I don't know why they don't make them good.
It's by far the best pizza. Even everybody in the city knows it.
Sometimes I see people waiting 2 hours. Watching him is a pleasure. It's more fun to watch him than almost to eat the pizza.
There are lines out the door here, hour, 2 hours sometimes.
Yeah.
A lot of people come here. So your pizza must be different than other people's pizza, because other people don't wait 2 hours except
well,
at the
I told them to take a day off when they come over here.
The best pizza in the world, right here, Stefara's.
He is the pizza genius.
That's from the Ironworkers, Local 361.
When you do something you like to do, it's okay. And then if you're forced to do, you know, change feeling. I do because I want to do, you know.
Thank you. Well, this really looks good. It's hot. It's real hot. I can tell the crust is going to be good already just by feeling it. Are we ready for this? Whoa. This is the best pizza I ever had. So we're gonna have to head back to America's Test Kitchen to see if we can make a pizza as good as Dominic's. We're definitely gonna do our best, but first, I'm gonna finish this slice and get at least a couple more. Well, I have to say there were 3 things I learned from Dom at DeFaras. One's, I can't roll out my pizza, he can. His pizza isn't tough when you chew it, and mine is. And his pizza had a lot of flavor, and mine's tasteless. So I can't roll it out, it's tough, and it's tasteless. So I'm here for remedial class on how to make great thin crust New York style pizza.
That is the holy grail of the home cooked pizzas. Thin crust, one that's thinner in the middle but has a nice little handle around the edge so you can pick it up. You want it to be tender, crisp, slightly flexible, a little bit foldable but not floppy. And we want it out of the home oven. I mean, it's a huge, lofty goal, right? So tons of problems, but we're gonna start off with the dough here. I'm gonna show you how easy it is to make this whole pizza, okay? So we're gonna start off with 16.5 ounces of bread flour. We're using bread flour here because it has a higher protein. That's later on going to translate to more gluten development for a more elastic dough.
Yeah, I mean, one thing that always bothers me is even myself, I bother myself as I talk about protein and gluten. I don't know, I want to see gluten, okay? I mean, it's just this concept.
You want to see gluten?
I want to see gluten, right? So is gluten in? So we took the same amount of cake flour and bread flour, and we washed it for about an hour. It took a long time. And so cake flour is 8 to 9% protein, okay? Bread flour is 12, 13% protein.
Much higher.
So we washed it, and so now you can actually see that the cake flour has very little gluten.
That's right.
Like this, okay?
It's like cottage cheese.
Yeah, and we started the same amount of flour. Look at this. This is the same amount of flour. This is bread flour. And guess what? It's stretchy.
Wow.
And this is gluten, folks.
It's like silly putty.
Yeah, we washed away all the starch because, you know, flour has a lot of starch. And this is the protein which turned into gluten with the water.
That is amazing. It also has more flavor and it tends to get a little bit browner in the oven. To augment some of that flavor, though, we are going to add sugar. This is 2 teaspoons, just plain old granulated sugar. And just a tiny bit of yeast. This is 1/2 teaspoon of instant, or you can use rapid rise yeast. Just all goes in there. Just gonna mix this up just to blend quickly. All right. And now comes another secret ingredient here.
Water?
Water. Who would have thought?
Brilliant!
I mean, basically, pizza is flour, yeast, and water. But the key here is using ice cold water. And you're going to see an overarching theme. Let's keep it cold. So, just going to measure out 1 1/3 cup. An ice cube or 2 isn't going to hurt. Now I'm going to go ahead and put this lid on, and I'm going to have the machine running. I'm going to pour the water through the feed tube, let it run for about 10 seconds. And what I'm looking for is for the dough to be completely mixed and no patches of dry flour to remain.
So there's a little science here.
Of course
My
there
specialty.
is.
Your specialty is cooking, mine's eating and science. Every 18 degrees Fahrenheit, the activity of the yeast doubles. So using cold water, let's say 40 degrees, okay, that's one rate, which is slow. If you went up 18 degrees Fahrenheit to 58 degrees, you double the rate of yeast working, producing carbon dioxide. Another 18 degrees to 76 degrees is room temperature. That's another doubling, so it's 4 times faster. So at 40 degrees, the yeast is working at 1/4 the speed as it does at room temperature. So that's what we're doing here. So instead of producing these big bubbles,
Yeah, you don't want that. We don't want that.
that means the yeast was working quickly, producing a lot of carbon dioxide. It also gives you a breadier,
Yeah, we don't want that.
and we wanted a thinner pizza. So
We
there
sure
you go.
did. That looks like homemade pizza.
Yeah, it looks like my homemade pizza.
All right, so we're not done here yet. We want to let this mixture sit just right in the food processor for about 10 minutes. What's going to happen is the flour is going to fully absorb all that water. It's going to make the strands of gluten, strands of protein more flexible. All right, so that's a good 10 minutes. We waited, so now we can proceed. And we're going to add these 2 ingredients. I've got 1/2 teaspoons of table salt, just dissolves more readily than kosher salt, and that's for flavor, of course. And this is 1 tablespoon of vegetable oil, just a nice clean oil. It's going to give some richness to our dough, help it brown a little bit more. We're adding these after the 10-minute rest because the oil would actually inhibit some of the moisture from being absorbed into the flour. And about 30 to 60 seconds, I'm going to process this until it comes together, and it's going to be quite sticky, but it should look satiny and clear at the sides of the work bowl. All right, the dough looks perfect, nice and satiny, stretchy too, but it's quite sticky. Now, I'm going to use a little bit more vegetable oil, just squirt a little bit out on my counter. All right, so that looks good. Let's get the dough out. I just want to knead it, just briefly, about a minute, just until it comes together and it's nice and smooth. And you can actually see how beautiful this dough is. It's come together quite quickly.
you actually were kneading the dough in the food processor, in part.
Absolutely, and you
Okay.
know, here's an ode to the food processor when making bread, and especially pizza, especially sticky doughs. Food processor does it in minutes. What it would take me days to do by hand, and even 20 minutes, 15, 20 minutes in a regular stand mixer. So we love the food processor. All right, so let's finish shaping this into a nice top ball. There we go, that's looking pretty darn good. Now I want to put this in a lightly greased bowl as well. And I'm going to cover it with a little bit of plastic wrap, nice and tight. So I'm going to put it in the refrigerator for 24 hours. That's a minimum. Now it can stay in there for up to 3 days if you're thinking ahead.
There's a little bit of science to that long sit in the refrigerator. Remember I said there were 3 problems with my pizza at home. One of them was I couldn't roll it out. So if you let it sit for a long time, enzyme activity starts snipping at those gluten strands. Think of gluten as this big ball of tightly wound rubber bands. It cuts them into pieces, they relax and reform. It makes them much easier to roll out. One of the things going on, and the yeast is converting carbohydrates to alcohol, to sugar, and to acids. Those are flavor components. Over a long period of time, especially at higher temperatures, those get converted to carbon dioxide. This process in the refrigerator slows it down, so you get a lot of flavor development, but not much carbon dioxide. It doesn't go to the next stage. So you get a lot of flavor in small bubbles. So cold and a long sit makes it easy to roll out and gives you a lot more flavor.
All right, so Chris, we have plenty of time to make the other components. We're going to make the sauce right now. Now, we're going to make a no-cook sauce. Even though we have all the time in the world, we're going to make a no-cook sauce because we want bright, fresh flavor.
Because we can.
And because we can, that's right. We don't want to cook out all the flavor. I mean, it's going in the oven, it's going to cook once it's on the pizza, so why not keep the flavors fresh at this point? We're going to start off with 1 28-ounce can of whole tomatoes, and we've drained these, got rid of the liquid, and that's actually pretty much the key of what's going to let us make this a no-cook sauce. If we kept the liquid in there, we would have to cook it down to make it thick enough. We've got a tablespoon of extra virgin olive oil for some beautiful flavor and richness. A couple cloves of minced garlic, goes right in. I've got a teaspoon of salt, this is just table salt, and a teaspoon of dried oregano. It's kind of the pizza spice, isn't it? Pizza sauce doesn't taste right without it. And I've got a 1/4 teaspoon of ground black pepper. And then, just to kind of punctuate everything, make everything taste bright, this is 1 teaspoon of red wine vinegar. Just process this all up, maybe 20, 30 seconds should do it. That's enough. Just pour this right into the bowl. All right, now I'm going to put it in the refrigerator for about an hour, let those flavors melt. Of course, you can do it longer.
Meanwhile, I'm going to go visit Jack in our tasting lab. We're doing a tasting of red wine vinegars. Growing up, our family used the worst red wine vinegar from the supermarket, and it was so bitter and harsh. Well, that's what I thought it was supposed to be until I actually started going to cooking school. Now I realize there is actually a wide range of choices available. Some of them are actually good. Who knew? So now we're trying to decide, once again in America's Test Kitchen, which brand of red wine vinegar suits the palate.
You're gonna get excited, Chris. I brought delicious vinaigrette, extra virgin olive oil, red wine vinegar, salt, a little mustard. So this is our foolproof vinaigrette recipe. We felt like of the 3 tests we did, this was the best way to judge them. We did them straight from the bottle, and let me tell you,
I've done that once.
I'm in a good mood because I could have brought that along, and it will make you a new man. Let's just put it that way. Not necessarily a better man. Then we also made pickled onions, and it seemed like a more esoteric test to do the pickled onions. So I did vinaigrette. We felt like the differences were very clear and consistent across all 3 tests. Vinegars that were very, very potent, straight from the bottle, continue to be potent. You know, the acidity level can range from 5 to 7%. And basically we found the ones at the top end were just so harsh and so potent that if you see a 7 or over 7% acidity level, it's too much vinegar.
Run for the hills.
Yes, and that there's really nothing you can do to make it more palatable. The other curious thing that we found is that all of the best red wine vinegars actually have ingredients other than red wine in them.
Oh.
Our winning brand actually has red and white wine in it. Our runner-up uses Concord grapes rather than wine grapes.
Really?
And our favorite premium brand adds Bing cherry juice to Zinfandel wine to make their vinegar. So anything that you're noticing in terms of differences?
This was the harshest, I thought.
Okay. One thing you should look for is that some of them had a very strong odor of nail polish remover. And it actually turns out if the conversion of the alcohol to vinegar is not complete and some alcohol is left in the vinegar, it can react with acetic acid to produce a compound that honestly is almost the same as acetone, which is what's in nail polish remover. That should not be in your vinegar.
I like this the best.
Okay.
So the harsh one, shall we start?
Sure, let's start there. That was the winner of our premium. This is O Zinfandel. That was an $8 bottle of vinegar, was the most expensive. That's the one with the big cherry juice. Our tasters kind of liked it,
I
but
thought it
you...
was harsh.
I don't know, Chris, you're not going for the expensive stuff.
No.
I'm surprised.
I like this one.
This was our runner-up, Pompeian. This is the one that's actually made with...
Pompeian? I picked Pompeian?
Yeah, that's the cheapest vinegar. It's made with Concord grapes, kind of using fruit juice,
Yes,
not in wine.
Thank you.
Yes,
He's
yes.
laughing at me.
It did well in tasting.
Did well. Well, it wasn't as harsh.
Yes, and I know you have a very delicate palate, so...
I thought this one was like number two.
That was actually the winner. This is the one that's made from both red and white wines, Laurent de Clos. It's moderately priced at $6. We felt like of the supermarket brands, it was the best choice.
This one was second harshest, I thought.
This is actually our loser. This is the Monari Federazione. It's just made with red wine, had over 7% acidity. We felt like it was just too harsh and one-dimensional.
And what was the acidity of this one?
That's more like 6%.
Oh. So the $8 bottle, very expensive one, was this one, O Zinfandel, probably from California. And the two winners, they're recommended, Laurent de Clos, which was imported.
Yes.
And then also, oddly enough, Pompeian red wine vinegar.
Those are our best choices.
Cheap.
All right, so Chris, this is the dough. We're just about ready to shape it, but actually we've got to wait an hour because right out of the fridge, this particular dough is just too taut. It's going to be tough to work with. We want it to be looser, more fluid.
It's like you all wound up.
And this particular recipe makes 2 pizza dough rounds. So what I'm going to do is just put this right out onto my counter, divide it in half. Now I'm just going to take each half and shape it into a nice tight little ball. There we go. Same thing here. I'm just doing it the easy way. I like to tuck in all the edges. We don't want them to stick to this pan, which is what we're going to let them sit on. So I've got my little oil bottle here. And we're just going to put these little rounds here. A nice big piece of plastic wrap, which I want to spray with some vegetable oil spray. Again, keep this from sticking. Goes right over the top. So we're going to let this sit for an hour. Now, in the meantime, we've also been preheating our baking stone. And what we wanted to do was find a way to mimic those commercial pizza ovens. Now, you find with most pizza recipes, they'll tell you put a rack on the bottom of the oven, put the pizza stone right on the rack, and let that heat up. And the pizza stone's great for getting all that heat absorption. It translates into a really crisp crust. Well, what we found was that the pizza stone is going to crisp the bottom no matter where it is in the oven. But with a thin crust pizza, if we put the stone on the bottom of the oven, put the pizza right on there, in 10 minutes, about the time that it takes to cook the pizza dough, the top is just blonde. It doesn't have any color. So thinking about a commercial pizza oven, which is not very tall, it's actually the top of the pizza is quite close to the ceiling of the oven, so we're mimicking that here. It's about 4 or 5 inches away from the element at the top there. Let that heat up for an hour. And what's going to happen, all that heat from the ceiling of the oven is going to come right down on the pizza, give us big, beautiful, browned, bubbly topping.
A lot of bees there.
A lot of bees. All right, so it's been about an hour, and you can see the dough is relaxed. It's actually slumped quite a bit.
Had nap time.
It did have a nap.
Nappies.
I'm always more relaxed after an hour nap, too. So in just a moment, we're going to start shaping it. But what I have over here for you is dough that did not spend 24 hours in the fridge.
You're relaxed, I'm not, right?
That's right.
There's a theme here. So you don't want me to try to
Yes.
roll this out?
So start patting that out into about an 8-inch circle. Stretch it, and what's happening?
It's going back.
That's right. It's elasticated.
It's uncooperative. Okay, so stretch, retract.
Comes right back, that's right.
Okay.
That is not a good dough. All right, so let me show you what a well-rested dough does. So I'm gonna take one of these rounds, and now we're going to use flour. And we can use quite a bit because, remember, we didn't add any at any step prior in the process. So I'm gonna get both sides well floured here, and my hands. I'm gonna start patting this out to a nice 8-inch circle, and I wanna leave about 1-inch rim around the edge to start shaping our crust handle. If on the odd chance you find that it is snapping back just a little bit, you can always cover it with plastic wrap again, let it sit for 5 to 10 minutes. So now we want to start stretching this into a 12-inch disc. And what we can do is actually stretch it and rotate it a bit. We're still trying to create that nice edge that we have here, full of bubbles. You can see it looks gorgeous. What I'm also doing is I'm pushing down, making sure that the center is thinner, because remember, we don't want a big doughy center in our slice of pizza. All right, so this is looking pretty close. Let's see if it's 12 inches around, and we are there. Excellent. So we're gonna use a pizza peel to get this pizza in and out of the oven. And you can use flour. You really want to flour the peel so it doesn't stick, but I'm going to use semolina flour. Just gives a really nice taste. Also, little bits of flour kind of act like ball bearings. On goes the pizza round. And now I just want to finish patting this out to about a 13-inch circle. So I'd say that's looking pretty close. All right, so let's sauce this and get it in the oven. No more talking here. Now we're going to use a minimum of toppings because we don't want to weigh down, especially that super thin interior part here. So just a half cup of the sauce. Just use my ladle. Spread that out evenly. And again, we want to leave about, a 1/4 inch border around the edge.
Did you ever work at a pizzeria?
Isn't that nice?
We did it like they do professionally.
I did.
Yeah, nice.
I should get paid for this. And now for toppings, we're just going to use cheese here, and we're going to use 2 types. So we're going to use about a 1/4 cup, it's per pizza, 1/4 cup of the Parmesan. We'll put that on first. That way it doesn't get too brown in the oven. Sometimes you get that burnt Parmesan flavor, not good. And then we'll top it with a cup of mozzarella. And this is whole milk mozzarella, lovely creamy texture
so this is
and
our,
flavor.
We did a taste test, and Dragone was our favorite.
That's right.
Yeah.
Yeah, and you can find that at any supermarket, so you don't have to go to a fancy schmancy cheese shop to get the right pizza cheese. And try as I might, I always want to load on tons of cheese. Don't do it with this pizza. It will just weigh it down. So let's go take this to the oven.
Okay.
And slide it onto the stone. Right, so the easiest way to do this is to pull the stone out with the rack, and I'll just carefully slide this on there. Couple back and forths and it should release.
Perfect.
All right, so just put that right back in. And we're gonna bake this until the bottom is nicely browned, and also the top has some nice spotty browns and it's bubbling. That's gonna take about 10 to 12 minutes. About halfway through, it's a good idea to rotate the pizza so that it's baking evenly. All right. Hot pizza, straight from
Domino's.
the oven. Far from it. Now, if we were good little people, we would let this sit for 5 minutes, let it cool down. But I know you're gonna want to eat it right away.
Oh, I feel my mouth being burned.
But look how beautiful it is. It's still
It is
thin,
gorgeous,
it's not
yeah.
big and bready.
Ooh, sounds crispy. too.
Crispy, that's right. How's 6
Oh,
slices?
yeah, you're a 6 slicer.
Oh, yeah.
Evidently. There you are.
Nice big slice for myself. Now look at that.
It's got structure. It's holding up. Because, when I do it, it
Beautiful.
goes...
That's right. It does what?
It just... You want to do that again?
Well, it's crispy right all the way
Yeah.
to the center. Yep. Beautifully browned on
Ready?
top. Yep.
Ready for your roof of your mouth to go?
That's right.
It's tender. I said 20 years now I've made pizza at home, and it's always tough. I can't even chew the crust. It's just too tough.
That's right.
Yeah.
It's not going to pull any dentures out.
This is unbelievably good.
Super crisp, super tender. Tons of flavor in the dough, too.
I'm going to try the edge here. Man, this is excellent. So our fabulous New York style thin crust pizza starts with a mere half teaspoon of yeast in cold water and into the fridge actually for up to 3 days, at least one day. Take it out, let it warm up for an hour. Very easy, just with your hands, to make a 13-inch circle. And our sauce was a no-cook sauce, and the food processor done in 2 minutes into a very hot oven with the pizza stone at the top. So the whole thing cooks at the same time so you don't overcook it. So there you have it, from America's Test Kitchen to your kitchen, the best thin crust pizza recipe you'll ever make at home. You can get this recipe and all the recipes from this season, our tastings, our testings. You can also watch selected episodes of our show by going to our website, americastestkitchentv.com. You can also follow us on Twitter. You don't tweet yet.
I don't tweet.
Well, she will soon. And also on Facebook. This is phenomenally good.
America's Test Kitchen is brought to you by DCS by Fisher & Paykel. America's cooks rely on innovation and culinary precision. DCS by Fisher & Paykel, offering premium indoor and outdoor kitchen appliances. For over 50 years, Miracle-Gro products have helped home chefs grow fresh vegetables and herbs. Miracle-Gro soils and plant foods provide the essential nutrients plants need to grow bountiful produce. Gardening tips are available online at miraclegro.com. By Cooking.com, an online retailer for the kitchen enthusiast. If it's not in your kitchen, try ours. Chateau Saint Michel. Digital wine cellar and pairings can be found online. And by Kohler. Diamond Crystal Salt, the gourmet choice. Plum Amazins from Sunsweet.